This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com. On the November 26th airing of Primetime Wrestling, which was taped 3 weeks earlier at the Sam Houston Coliseum, Rick and Tito defeat the Islanders in about 13 minutes. And after the match, a guy named Bruce Prichard interviews Jimmy Hart and the Hart Foundation on the stage, with Jimmy demanding a title shot at the next Houston show on December 11th. Martel and Santana accept. And it's kind of an interesting trio when you go back and watch that show, because it's you, Mike McGurk, and Pete Doherty on commentary. We haven't talked a ton about that, but what a weird group of folks on commentary.
I still think that was a rib on me. I'll never forget being on a plane. We were coming back from Houston back to New York, and Vince looks at me and says, "How much talent work have you done?" And I didn't know exactly what the hell he was talking about. And I said, "Well, I've done the localized interviews in the Mid-South," which was essentially plugging the town and holding a microphone for the guys to talk. And I had done a little bit of color. When I say a little bit of color, I can count the matches on one hand. But I had never done play-by-play.
Right.
So I said, "Yeah, I've done 3 or 4 matches of color, but not a lot." I said, "I've mainly been the stick man doing localized interviews." But you could probably do play-by-play. And I said, I don't know. He says, "I got an idea. I'd like for you to be the host and do play-by-play for the Houston shows, and we'll use those for Primetime and All American and what have you in our international properties. And I've got an idea. I'd like to put you with a guy. He's a journeyman, was one of our enhancement talent. Great guy, Pete Doherty, the Duke of Dorchester. He's quite a character. He's got a strong Boston accent. Those people in Texas will hate his accent, but he's got the gift of gab, and I think you'd be able to get some good stuff out of him." And then I have a female in mind, Mike McGurk. I knew Mike, and I'm looking at him like, "Oh shit!" And he says, "I'd like to try her as like in an analyst role. So you would lead these two, and you would be the traffic controller, and you do play-by-play. Pete does a little color, and then you guys bring Mike in from time to time. She's a pleasant-looking woman, and nice, very Southern charm about her." So I'm like, okay, so you got 2 Southerners and a Bostonite doing this shit. None of us had ever performed those roles before in our life until the first time that we did at a Houston taping.
Wow.
And it was god awful. You want to hear some really bad commentary and some really bad color and analysts and shit? Go back and listen to the shit that I did in 87 and 88.
Let's talk about another weird combination. This was on the MSG network. It's Strike Force against the Hart Foundation. And on commentary, it's Gorilla Monsoon, Lord Alfred Hayes, and Nick Bockwinkel. That just feels like a fever dream, but it was real.
It was. We were trying to do something with Nick too. Thought that Nick's vocabulary and way with words might be able to translate into a color commentator. It did not.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.